That's what she looked like. She looked like she wanted to get over. Ain't playing no games with that lady. But I don't know how long the topic's gonna take. You know. But it involves a story. So I guess it'll make up for the amount of time it's going to take me to get through this and make my point. But it all starts when I was going to a school called Full Sail. I feel like I've told this story before. But I went to the school called Full Sail. That's where I got my first degree as a computer animator. And so I'm going there, G'd up, meet some friends. And one of my friends started telling me about this movie called, what's it called? It's called Timegeist. And the movie has 3 parts to it. Initially it was like 3-parted, and then it went from just 3 parts to like a full movie, and I think the full movie had all 3 parts together. It's easy to find the movie if you've never seen it before. I think it's still on Netflix, and you can go to freedocumentaries.org or .com or something like that, and it's probably on there still. But one of the videos was talking about money, and it was talking about basically how economies, basic idea of how the economy works and how it used to work and how the debt system is and all that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I suggest watching the video. It's not needed, you don't need to do it, but you know, just so you can follow along easier, watch the video. And so one of the main points of the video was the debt that we're in, and also the lack of backing from the currency that we're using. So the currency that we're using is now just paper that's backed by nothing. But when our currency first was going around, it was backed by gold. You know, that's where Fort Knox was housing our gold, and all our money was backed by that gold that was in the that gold that was backed by the money that was backed by that gold. Okay, and then after a while, the American government, or at least I keep thinking the Fed, the Treasury decided, you know, that it's no longer going to be backed by gold. So it used to say something about gold on the dollar at one point, all the bills at one point, and now it doesn't say anything about it. Okay, so that's like a big problem. Oh my gosh, our money is not backed by gold, you know. And then also, the money is generated by, all our money is generated by the Treasury Department. The Treasury Department, the U.S. Treasury is not, quote unquote, a part of the government, right? And so, in a sense, they make the money, the government borrows money from them, and then has to pay them back the money that they borrowed with interest. And so, because that money does not have some type of value back in it, like gold, then you're just like, you're getting debt to pay the debt back with more debt type of thing. So you have to pay, let's say you got $1, you get $1 from the Treasury, and after you get that $1, you have to pay back 25 cents for every $1 that you get. So you get $1, you have to pay back $1.25. But you obviously don't have $1.25, so you have to borrow more money to pay back that $1.25. Right? So let's say you only borrow as much as you need to pay back the amount you need. You borrow $1, you got to pay back the $1.25. Okay, Well, if I borrow $4, then to pay back that debt, I would need to borrow one more dollar, which is $5. But then you owe $5. I mean, you owe now $5.25, and so you're still behind, and you gotta keep doing it. So that was like one of the main points, two of the main points of the whole thing. And so when I first heard about this was the first time I heard about it. I was in my 20s. I was like 25 or so. And I remember one of the main things that really got me was like, why would the government borrow money? This is crazy. You know, I'm like getting upset. And I was like super upset and anything. It's like, yo, what is going on with this world? You know? Why would the government borrow money from this standalone area? Like, you're the government, you could just make your own money. Why would you need to borrow some money? And then I was thinking like, yeah, what's up with the fact that, you know, our money isn't backed by anything? That means the dollar's worthless. It means yada yada yada. And so, you know, I get this mentality of that for maybe like a year or so. And I'm like talking to the guy, he's telling me about other things, different conspiracies, or things that not actually a conspiracy, but it just seems jacked up, you know. And so he's telling me all these things, and then I'm like, man, I can't believe it. Yeah, you know, because this is all brand new information to me. And then as time went on, that critical thinking started kicking in more and more. The more information I got, the more I started critically thinking about it. The more I started, you know, trying to figure it out. What's up with it? What is up with this? You know? And the more I started doing that, the more I started thinking about it, the more I started asking more questions without even digging in the crates per se, without digging in crates like a DJ, without digging through stuff to try to figure it out. You know, just taking the information I know and applying it to other things. I realized that, what the hell am I upset about? At the end of the day, right? What exactly am I upset about? That there's no gold back in the dollar bill? But so what? How much value is gold really to your average person? When you start thinking about it, to your average person, how much is gold really valuable to the person? You can't eat it, you can't drink it, you can't smell it. I mean, I guess you can smell it, but there's no real reason to smell it, you know? It doesn't really do anything for you. And so that value that's supposedly on that gold is just created, you know? You just like, yeah, this is worth something. It has no, I guess, intrinsic value. That's the right word. It has no natural. It's not a resource that human beings need, and so because of that, in the natural state and nature, it really has no value to humans. Until you start getting into making parts and stuff like that, and the person's making some parts, then of course it becomes valuable. But on your everyday person, it's not valuable at all. And so I started thinking about that for everything. Like, what does it matter if you got diamonds? I mean, diamonds are even less valuable at the end of the day. Because, you know, usually the rarer things get, the less you need it for things. So, like, diamonds are really rare compared to other. It's not as rare as people have you believe, but it's rarer than, let's say, gold. You can find more gold than you can find diamonds. If I'm mistaken. So the rarer it becomes, the less people use it because it's rare. And so you have to really be in the niche and the niche groove to really actually need it. You know, the average person doesn't need it. You get smaller and smaller into more niche areas, and they don't need it. Because diamonds are just, diamonds are just there. And so is gold. So then you think, okay, well, if gold doesn't have any value, what the hell does it matter if it's attached to your dollar bill? What does it matter that your dollar bill is attached to something that actually has no value in itself? And granted, gold was used for currency at one point, but at that point, when gold was used for currency, the reason it was used for currency is because people wasn't using it for anything else. That eased the tension of what I was feeling at the time. Like I'm like upset initially, but then when I start to, put two and two together, I start, adding it up. I start doing the mathematics. I start, I start getting the science of the situation. The less I'm upset now. The more it's like, the more I start to see the truth about the situation and about how people are so upset about this money or this currency, or going crazy over this money and currency, when it's like it doesn't, it's not even real. Taking a quote from one of my favorite movies of all time, Blow, money isn't real. It just seems that way. Once you get over that, then it's no real reason to be upset anymore. So it's like, yo, relax, And like I said, that took away the anger, like I said, from being upset about the fact that, or thinking that the idea is that, because we don't have gold on it, our dollar's not worth anything. So I'm working all this time for something that's not worth anything. It's like, yo, you're the one that makes it worth something. These other people that want to have it is what makes it worth something. Not because somehow it is worth something. Nothing that is in nature is just something. What the hell happened down here? Nothing in nature is somehow just, like it has some type of value to it. Like it has some type of... As soon as you see it, as soon as mankind saw its first rock, he knew it was worth $1. You know what I'm saying? That's not how life is. That's not how life is, and that's not how value is. And the same goes for like people in like words, or people and names. And it's like, yo, it's all the same. It's all the same. That the reason something is named a certain way is because somebody decided to name it that. And to say that something's not a real word, or something is not, this is not a real name, that's not a real name. You can't name your kids that, because that's not a real name. It's like, yo, how do you think when people started naming their kids Pierre, you think it was always somebody named Pierre, or that word was always for people to name their kids Pierre? No, somebody had to come up with it, and then it got popular. It's, I don't know. And to get upset about it, and to, try to, hold an argument about it, to me, it's just like, you're wasting your time. You're overexerting yourself over this money and these names and titles and stuff like that for nothing. If somebody wants to name their kid Apple, so what? Do you even have a problem with an apple being called an apple? No. Why don't you care? Because you've known an apple as being an apple. Do you get mad when somebody's kid name is Wednesday? No, because you've known people named Wednesday. You get mad when somebody's kid name is I don't know, something, Hunter. That's a, you know, technically, if you want to go there, that's a title. Hunter is a title, it's not a name, right? But nobody's upset with that. Why? Because it's normal now. And it wasn't normal then, when I first started using it. But it's normal now. And so you just gotta, you know, it's gonna get normal. The only thing I got to say about names or new words and all that stuff, or even currency concern, is that all of this is dependent on the majority, right? Currency works no matter what, as long as the majority is down with it. That name is going to work no matter what, but you're going to catch flack off that name until the majority feels like it's okay. You know, that new word that you're using, irregardless, it's going to catch a bunch of flack initially, and then after a while, people are going to accept it. People are going to understand the meaning for it, and they're going to accept it. You know? So, like, so in that sense, like, yo, what's the point of getting upset and getting pissed off and getting angry about money and words and all that stuff? I guess that was my whole point of this whole thing. So, yeah. That's how I'm at with this and that. But I'm getting cold. You can see the sun is going down, and it was already around the high 60s when I started riding, and sun's going down, so the temperature is going down with it. I'm guessing it's in the low 60s right now, the way my arms feel in my chest, because I'm getting a whole bunch of air through my jacket and hitting my chest. So I feel like it's probably like low 60s, it might be even high 50s. But either way, I'm on my way home, and I am cutting this is me. This video is going to be over now. This video is over now. So if you catch me on the streets riding my motorcycle, doing wheelies and stuff, doing stoppies and wheelies and handstands on the side of the bike, you know, doing donuts, you know, make sure, you know, just, you know, take your time out of your day, you know, out of your long day, and shoot me a heads up display. Why is there a long pole on top of the other pole? You guys see that? It's like an pole. Look at that. Look at that. I don't know if my head is tilted far enough, but it's like a pole on top of a pole with nothing on it. It's like, what? Anyway, make sure you shoot me a heads up display, and that'll be all good. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. I gotta make this light. Give me a head nod. Up. There you go.